Hi and welcome to the next presentation. With me here today, I have the CEO of Scandinavian ChemoTech. With me here is Mohan Frick, and on link we have Dr. Sohil. The stage is yours.
Thank you. So today I'm going to present to you Scandinavian ChemoTech, a company that I founded together with two co-founders, Emeritus Professor Bertil Persson from the Radiophysics Department in Lund, and the today late Dr. Göran Hellers, former surgeon from Karolinska and Huddinge. 2 days ago, Scandinavian ChemoTech published a really nice press release with the latest news from the treatments being performed with our partners, clinical partners at Ukrainian hospital Ulis, who have used ChemoTech's TSE technology, which stands for tumor-specific electroporation, to treat two cancer patients suffering from non-resectable pancreatic cancer. The news from Ukraine is very promising, and the two patients treated with our technology was able to leave the hospital after 7 days after the surgery was performed. And now, almost 5 months from that procedure, both patients are in home care without any pain control. So these are remarkable and results and outperforming our own expectations from these treatments, and we are looking forward to the collaboration with Ulis and their team in Ukraine. So I hope that enlightened the interest to continue listening to my presentation. Who are ChemoTech? We are a company established 2015 by the co-founders I introduced earlier. We have our roots from the Lund University Hospital, where my co-founder, Professor Bertil Persson, Emeritus, have spent almost 30 years in research and development in the field of cancer and how we can treat and change characteristics of tumor cells. In late 2016, we made our entrance into the stock market by an IPO on Nasdaq First North Growth Market, and our company is today protected by three independent patent families that protects not only our main technology platform, but also disposable products for both the superficial tumors and for deep-seated tumors, such as pancreatic cancer, potentially also prostate cancer and other deep-seated therapies. We have two business units, one for human medicine, we call that human care, and one for veterinary use, which we called animal care. So human care and animal care business units. We have establishment both in Sweden and India, Southeast Asia and United States today. And we have distributors around in India, Southeast Asia, in Europe, and also a potential distributor for the North American region that we are presently evaluating. Many ideas and scientific innovations are not always rocket science. It's invented by the fact that the inventor has ability to see and generate ideas from just keeping their attention up. Me, myself, as a boy, like many of you out there, have probably been as stupid as I was. I tried to lick on a 6-volt battery. That hurt, I'm telling you. How come that hurt, but it doesn't hurt when I hold in my finger? This particular moment had not a big impact at that day, but had when I started ChemoTech and developed a therapy where we're using over 1,000 volts of generated electricity to treat cancer patients. So, does it matter where in the body we're using this electrical field? From childhood, I learned it does. I'll come back to that later. As I told you, we have two business units. One, human care, where we are today entering the commercialization phase on surface tumors, we call them superficial. Tumors like head and neck cancer, breast cancer, and skin cancer. And the majority of these business are in Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Africa, where lots of patients coming very late to treatment, and they have less amount of options to find a suitable treatment. Deep-seated tumors like pancreatic, I went into, that's more a research project, but has a really, really nice potential. But the focus there is not those markets. The focus here is in Europe and North America. Animal care, also superficial tumors, and it happens to be that those are the typical tumors that both cats and dogs and even horses suffering most from. So it's very suitable for us to enter into this market, not only because of the tumor's location, but these type of business is also price sensitive, and as ChemoTech's very price efficiency when it comes to our product and our disposables makes our product fit very well into this industry. What is tumor-specific electroporation and TSE? I told you that I licked on a battery when I was a child. And yeah, correct. We're using about 1000 volts to stimulate cells in the human and animal bodies that suffers from cancer. What we do with that is we expose the tumor area with a high voltage pulse to generate pores in the cancer cells. Through these pores, we increase the potential of uptake of chemotherapy substance dramatically. But, as I said, dependently of where we treat, we need to adapt that electrical pulse. Otherwise, it will be like that battery. I will not feel anything in my finger, but when I put it in my mouth, it will burn like crazy and I will destruct my tissue. So if we don't want to create destruction and inflammatory side effects that actually works against the cancer therapy, it's important that we really adapt the therapy the same way as any doctor that using a drug, using different doses for different patients and different indications. The same we do with electroporation today, and that was not available before ChemoTech entered this market. So we're trying to help with an intelligence in our device, the physician to balance that electrical pulse automatically. So we don't reach destruction. We open the cell, we get the chemo agent into the cell that breaks down the DNA and create apoptosis. And the apoptosis are the effect we want. So electrochemotherapy in the past had the same philosophy, even though that was not always the mode of action that actually occurred, since they were not able to really adapt the treatment to the specific location. Very often, you had a very high energy that actually destroyed the tissue, burned the tumor away, and you created side effects that you didn't want. And what's the point of using a low dose of chemotherapy if your idea is to ablate or burn the tumor away? That doesn't really make sense. You need to create that opening and let the cell be alive to create a decent apoptosis effect. That brings us back to what we have realized and what our physicians today are witnessing on. They're not only witnessing on a strong tumor response, they're also witnessing on several cases with really strong immune response, meaning that satellite areas that we don't treat, tumors responding there as well. We're getting tissue damages recovering, and ulcerization recovers. That means, from a clinical perspective, that by not being damaging treatment, we can also spare the lymph system and the lymphocytes that are so important to create that immune response. And that opens the door for a potential new therapy. Combining TSE with the modern immunotherapy drugs and treatments out there. And that is a potential that ChemoTech will put efforts into in the next coming years. So if you look at the treatment, how it works. Here is a little video showing that we have a device on the right we have a probe with sterile one-time use electrodes that you insert into the tumor. You press the pedal, in a fraction of 1 second, this electrical pulse is generated into that tissue, opening the cell without creating damage, neither to the healthy cell nor to the tumor cell. No, you heard right. We don't want to create damage to the cancer cell either. We want to open the pore. We want to create an apoptosis effect. By doing that, we tried how this treatment worked in the early stage in 2016. We let leading scientists in India try the TSE technology in tumors not responding to any other therapy and far beyond in the size of the older technology called electrochemotherapy. That treatment have a threshold to not to be used over 3 centimeters in diameter. All these patients had at least 10 centimeter of diameter tumor burden and was not responding to any standard therapy. 100% of the patients got a good clinical outcome in one way or another, and up to 50% of some of the cases got complete remissions. So why ChemoTech? Yeah, ChemoTech has today a patented portfolio where we have a competitive advantage to the different therapies out in the market. It's a CE marked and certified therapy, and we have potential to create sales in great, large, big markets where alternatives are few and competitors are also less. Clinical potential. Yes, we have clinical there are clinical papers defending electroporation as such in over hundreds of cases. So we have that strong safety proof already. Now with the added electroporation technology that we have delivered, we also have 2 published papers. One showing what I just said, that we can outperform the older technology in larger tumors, but also that TSE can be performed without general anesthesia, which is a great benefit for cost and safety for the patients. We have an initial we have a collaboration with the Indian government to perform clinical trials in something we called a innovation center at AIIMS Jodhpur. And the market potential, as I said, is very big in these markets with less alternatives and competitors. The potential for tomorrow, of course, the potential of creating a new paradigm in pancreatic cancer is, of course, a huge potential. The trial in AIIMS and government collaboration gives us opportunity to become a standard therapy in India, and we have also potential to create laparoscopic or robotic partnership to make TSE available for minimal invasive therapies. We have a strong board with a wide experience from industry to international trades and pharma and medical devices. We also have built a strong management team with a strong leadership and also experience from Southeast Asia and India, which are our major market for human care today. The market strategies are built on India for human medicine in superficial tumors. We have one of potentially the strongest growing medical device and healthcare markets in the world, where ChemoTech has the right partners to be successful. Our aim is to reach through government programs within our collaboration at least 10 installments in this year and up to 50 installments in the next coming years. For animal care, the focus is North America and US. We are today in negotiations or in sales processes with the 5 largest corporate operations. They have everything from hundreds of clinics each to 10 to 20 each, but it has the potential to grow in a dramatic pace. Our targets are 60 to 200 units in the next 3 to 4 years. So TSE, electrochemotherapy or tumor-specific electroporation, has a great potential. We need more clinical trials to prove ourselves, to grade up, to become more of a standard therapy and come earlier stage of the disease. Our strongest potential for research are the success in pancreatic cancer. Our aim is to work closer with our partners in Ukraine, but we aim to spread that into partnership with some leaders in Africa, United States, India, and also partners in laparoscopic minimal invasive therapies. Our milestones for the coming years are to finish our AIM study, get it published, become a standard therapy for head and neck cancer, become and bring better clinical, go into clinical trials when it comes to pancreatic cancer, and also find a partner for laparoscopic and robotic surgery. Animal care is our strong sales potential, and that's the focus we have with existing network. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the presentation. It was very good. But I have a question about the sales. When can the shareholders expect the sales to start ramping up?
I would say actually already this year. Okay. As I presented, we are in North America working with 5 of the largest corporate organizations. We are in process with all of them. We have a storyline in US where the physicians or the DVMs, which we call them, veterinary doctors, where they already have the perception that we, TSE, have something new to deliver, something that doesn't destroy and create necrosis, which seemed to be more of a problem in veterinary industry than in human medicine. So our potential is bigger in veterinary area for that, and the ability to convince them are also stronger.
And the forecast, is it starting to ramp up this year, next year?
It's easy to ramp up from the low levels we are today,
yes.
Right? So yeah, we will ramp up this year.
Okay. But what's unique with the TSE compared to the competitors? Why can you take market shares?
I would like to send that question to my medical director, Dr. Mufti. Dr. Mufti, what would you say quickly is the advantages we have towards the competition and alternatives?
Well, I would thank you so much, Mohan. I think you already stated it in your presentation. If I would say that there's no other product which is actually competing with TSE. TSE is a completely re-innovated and reinvented product and the technology, because the previous technologies were actually doing electroporation, but they were not able to reach to the entirety of the tumor, the dynamic part of the technology, and the decrease in the amount of the cold spots is actually creating the differentiator. It is also making it reach to the level where the immunomodulation, because of new antigen release, is the same or actually more than the irreversible electroporation or any of the ablation technologies. But the ablation technologies are actually not doing good when combined with checkpoint inhibitors or any other immunotherapy, because they have an adverse effect on the lymphatic system and the T cells per se. So this TSE technology actually does the immunomodulation by the release of new antigens, which comes closer to actually the same level where radiotherapy is, where radiation technologies are. So in the electroporation space, I don't see any competition at all. And TSE is completely niche and can be taken, as Mohan said, into earlier lines of therapy where radiation doses can be decreased, radiosensitization can be done, and newer paradigms can be created in the earlier lines of therapy where the older technologies could not reach.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you didn't go in at all to the immunotherapy drugs, for say. Could you just comment in one sentence on that as well, please?
I just mentioned about the checkpoint inhibitors, which we have like pembrolizumab, nivolumab, all the other newer ones also coming, and the newer checkpoint inhibitors as well. So it's known that more release of new antigens actually is related to high tumor mutational burden. So as the tumor evolves, the tumor mutation burden can also evolve, and the release of new antigens, be it with radiotherapy, be it with any ablation technology or with chemotherapy, has an effect or is combined at the moment with checkpoint inhibitors. But the problem is that those, you would say, modes of treatment also have an adverse effect on the lymphatic system, which the TSE technology does not have. So there's a patency. There is patent lymphatic system, the T cell system, which is their patent compared to radiotherapy. There are a lot of studies which have shown that radiotherapy actually decreases
the time is almost up. We have
yeah.
to.
So the potentiation is much better, I would say, in a few words.
Thank you. Okay, one last word.
Okay.
What's the trigger for 2023?
I think we have reached almost 5 months survival on our pancreatic cancer patients. The doctors are witnessing on continuing improvement of their health status. This is, for me, over everything. Patients are the most important. If we can give value to them, the numbers would come as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.